All right, and we're recording. Yeah. So, folks, thank you for coming back to the podcast. Um, what I have tonight is Shane Kerwin of Personal Survival Solutions and Andy Bagby of Outpost Armory. And I tell you what, these two guys, they're two of my best friends. Like, they're absolutely freaking fantastic people. Like,
Mhm.
even if they weren't firearms instructors,
Mhm.
um, if they were just truck drivers with high points, then I would still want to have a beer with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
So, absolutely fantastic. Now, some of y'all may not know exactly who Shane Kerwin is. I'm going to give you a little bit of a super
Mhm.
brief rundown. He's a fifth group guy, retired master sergeant. Um, been there, done that, like a bunch of different deployments to Asia, Central America, Middle East, um, combat medic, freaking everywhere you would think of going and hunting down bad dudes. That's the guy. He's definitely the guy that you want on your team if you're going to do that, because he'll punch holes in people and then also he'll patch up holes in people. So it's pretty badass. Uh,
Mhm.
Andy Bagby is a badass in his own right as well. Like, he is, whatever kind of definition you have of a training junkie, he fits that description.
Mhm.
Literally hundreds of hours of training every single
Mhm.
year. He's the general manager of Outpost Armory. I think you're getting a new store in Franklin and
Hendersonville.
Hendersonville, right
Yep.
on,
Mhm.
and hosting a bunch of classes out of there. It's freaking awesome. I
Mhm.
can't wait for tonight. This is going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
so Shane, what we're doing here is we're talking about a class that you developed called, Armed Citizen, I'm sorry, Armed Citizens Encounters,
Yep.
right? And it's a tactical medical class, right? Like, how did you
Mhm.
come up with that class, and
Well,
what kind of skills are being transferred here?
so I'd been thinking about it for a while, and as I've been going through and doing the coursework and changing it, every time we do a class, I sit down and I hot wash it after, and make changes, and because we want it recent, relevant, and realistic. And I'd been thinking about this for a while, and so we came up with what we refer to as the ACE class, or Armed Citizens Encounters, Tactical Anatomy, Trauma, and Treatments, where we take mindset, uh, situational awareness. Then we get into an in-depth thing of tactical anatomy in the three dimension, so people understand vital targeting. If they're ever in an encounter, and then we take that out and we go out onto the range, and we implement those things. And then we come back into the classroom, because bullets and pointy things go both ways. And there's a real chance that us or somebody that we care about could be injured. And so we have to have the skills to be able to address that if that does occur. So instead of punching holes in things, which we teach people to do, we think really well. Also, how can they patch that up, whether it's self-aid or aid to a loved one, or aid to a citizen that's out there that happened to be in the line of fire. And we kind of put that all together, and then we go back to the range, and uh, we integrate the medical skills into the live fire segments of it. And then we culminate it all with a force on force scenario, where we kind of put everything together that we've done over the 2 days. And it's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I started thinking about it last year. And like I said, the tactical anatomy I've been slowly integrating into our other coursework. And then it was kind of fortuitous that Steve Moses reached out to me and asked me to become part of the Tactical Anatomy Summit. And so that just kind of helped and led into my inspiration to really do this class. And so, because I was part of the summit, then I went out and took Doc Williams's Shooting with X-ray Vision Tactical Anatomy Instructor course, so I could be certified there to integrate it in. And that's kind of how it came about. But I really wanted people to understand, that vital tactical anatomy in a 3D environment, and being able to see the pathway of the bullet, so that if they did have to engage somebody, regardless of what angle, because we know gunfights are a dynamic endeavor, they are able to visualize the pathway of that bullet to that vital anatomy to end that threat or fight as quick as possible with the least amount of rounds possible.
Yeah, super important stuff, because we all know that every bullet has a lawyer attached to it. Uh,
Mhm.
there's what was it? Akil Kadir says that you know you're responsible for every round you fire in every way possible, spiritually, emotionally. legally, financially. So controlling that trajectory is super important. Andy, so did Shane accomplish his goal? Did he do a good job?
Absolutely. I mean, I really didn't know what I was getting into going into this class. I mean, you knew there was going to be shooting and medical stuff, but it was kind of like an elevated version of kind of stop the bleed in a way. Because at the end, when he talks about the little force on force thing, so the medical part of that had my heart racing more than anything else in the class.
That's awesome.
Like when the fact that he tells you this guy needs you now, and you turn around and you're trying to put not just a tourniquet on something that, you know, is just laying there in like a little pan where squirting blood. Like this is a weighted dummy, you know, there's blood squirting out all over you. And it was I guess we could say it was probably about as realistic as you could get without, you know, a real person.
That's pretty realistic. Wow. Yeah. So that's pretty amazing.
But absolutely, he did absolutely accomplish the goals, I thought, in the class.
So these dummies, like, what are they talking, life size, like real weight? What?
It was about life size, I would say, but it was pretty heavy, yeah. Because I mean, I carried the dummy to the truck at one point in time, and I mean, I had to bend down, pick it up, throw him over my shoulder. So you know, it probably weighed what, 60 pounds, maybe.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's actually one of the lighter. It's a grapple dummy that I've reappropriated for use as my my injured person. But then, you know, as we do the med stuff too, you know, we kind of go from vanilla. So say, for example, you know, learning how to pack a wound and then put a pressure dressing on. You know, we talk about it, we discuss it in the class, and then we go to wound cubes that are slick. You know, they don't have any simulated blood or anything, and they get chance to practice on different wound channels there. And then we move over to these other other packing practical exercises that I have that are that actually bleed, and you can put a small tourniquet on it that comes with it. You've got blood coming out. Once you get the tourniquet in place, it stops the bleeding. But then you got to pack it. You put a pressure dressing on, and we start to add realism as we go through, and then it culminates in that that force on force scenario at the end where I've got one of those packing things, which it's really unique. You can put it on a person, or I just use the dummy and have some old clothes on it, but it wraps on the leg and it's thick enough that you can actually pack, but it's not, you know, unrealistic in the way that it looks. So, you know, we have put a tourniquet on, we have them pack, put a pressure dressing on. They get all new stuff. So they actually have to open it up, get it out of the packaging, and, you know, see the problems that that can cause, especially in an adrenalized state. And so, you know, we try and start really vanilla, and then we just add more realism as we go until, you know, they get that big practical exercise at the end.
Man, super important. Because we need, as practitioners, we need that parking spot in our brain, you know?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, we're going to come up with goofy stuff on the fly.
Sure.
Because right there in that situation, I mean, you're like, okay, I'm going to go put the tourniquet on there. But once you bend down there and put your knee on that and the blood actually like splattered on you, it was like, okay. Like it got your heart racing and it got the adrenaline pumping, and just it was great. It was a great experience.
It's like morbidly exciting. You know?
Pretty much.
Can't wait to get blood squirted on me. So the next question I had was, hey, what sets this class apart from other TechMed classes? But I think we're kind of touching on that already, right? Like Shane's pulling in a lot of stuff that adds a lot of realism. And can y'all speak to a little bit more to that? Like, what have y'all seen in other TechMed classes? And, you know, like, how is this different?
Well, I think the thing that's unique in this one, and you know what I didn't say before is like, so this isn't a replacement for the Tactical Anatomy Summit, because we do different things, and I think Andy can, you know, kind of attest to that. It's to augment, you know, so they play off of each other. You do a lot with realistic targets and targetry during the summit, and we've taken it kind of a step further with it. I don't want to get too much into it, but you know, we've got a lot of 3D dummies and simulations where you have something that represents the heart, and you know, you might be shooting at different angles, and once the drill is done, you can go and check to see, did you actually target that vital area that we talked about in the classroom and have a good understanding? And we do the same thing. There's a representation of the brainstem for headshots. So you get that feedback when you go there. And so we're taking the med, we're putting it together with understanding the anatomy and the tactical environment, and then also, how to treat those things if that were to happen to you, and kind of, what the impact is, pun intended, of, hey, if I shoot somebody here, these are going to be the results. If I get shot here, these are going to be the results. And these are the things that I need to do, which I think in a lot of the different tech med classes that are out there, not that they're bad in any way, but they go down a different path. They're, fully medical. Maybe they add some shooting portion in there where, they do a little bit of shooting and then they put their medic hat on, or it's just shooting and they add just lip service. So like, hey, you need to, know medicine and put a tourniquet on. But I think we've kind of taken that and put it all together in this that's especially important for the armed citizen. And I think that's one of the things that differentiates us from other tech med courses, because from what I've seen anyway, that's out there for the most part, is when you say a tech med course, it's like the military TCCC or SWAT team stuff that, some of it translates over, but it doesn't all translate over to the armed citizen the way that it should be.
Yeah, that makes sense. What I see from a lot of tech med courses is it's really a shooting class, and then they toss in like 15 minutes worth of tourniquets, right?
Yeah.
Or worse yet, it'll be like, all right, it's really a 4-hour, medical class, but then let's go out to the range and let's shoot 100 rounds. The difference is there ain't a whole lot that ties it all together into a complete system,
Right.
So it seems like that's what this class is going to deliver. Andy, what do you think? Like, how does this, am I on the right track here or what?
You are on the right track. I mean, honestly, I have never really taken a class before that combined shooting and medical. Everything I've taken medical before this was just basically like your North American Rescue Stop the Bleed class, or like the classes we would do at Top Gun, the medical classes. But on this, I mean, doing stuff like, shooting, having to set your gun down, apply a tourniquet, and then pick your gun back up and shoot again, and stuff like that was all new to me, and it was great experiences.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, like, Andy, coming back to you, right? Like,
Yeah.
This isn't your first class with Shane.
No.
So,
no.
What
Not
keeps
my
you
last
coming
either.
back? What keeps you coming back? Is he paying you? Like, what's
no,
going on?
No, unfortunately he's not. But so we met Shane when my wife won the irregular warfare class from the Mingle with Brian Hill. And, we've trained with Brian countless times. So they were doing that class together, and we met Shane through that class, and we just kind of hit it off. We really liked his training style. And then when this class popped up, it was like, all right, this sounds really cool. I'm going to jump on this and take this. And originally I was thinking of Shane more just going to take rifle classes from him, because my rifle skills could use some work. But this was an excellent class. This is one of the best class I've taken in a while, that I feel like I got the most out of and really learned the most that I've taken all year.
Dude, I'm licking my chops here on this, Like,
because it was so much different stuff. Every class they're going to tell you how to grip the gun, and shoot the target and stand and draw. But this was just totally different, and it was stuff I had never done, and it was a great experience.
Man, it's not even far from me. It's like a 4-hour drive. So
no,
yeah, I got it.
Yeah,
not even because you don't have to go all the way to Nashville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
That's about 3.
Yeah. So let's see. So Andy listed a bunch of different factors that kept him coming back, right? Like, just the simple fact that, your teaching style and all this stuff. So are those deliberate choices, or did they develop organically?
Probably a little bit of both. I think, I have a belief that people are born with a propensity to teach. Now, don't get me wrong, that has to be cultivated as you continue, throughout your, path of this. And then there's some people, that just that's what they really want to do. They're passionate about, they put the work in, and they end up being good instructors. I think I was kind of one of those people that was born a little bit with a propensity to teach, but it's something that I really cultivate. And like, I look back at my teaching style, and, say a year ago or 2 years ago, and between then and now, it's changed quite a bit. Because I do a lot of self-reflection, after each class. And one of the things that I always try and do, no matter how many times I've taught the class, I always try and keep the mentality of, this is the first class that I'm teaching, so I give it my all. But I think as you're doing that, and you're doing classes, you need to, after the fact, sit down and go, okay, what did I, do well? What did I do, not so well? Give yourself an honest look, and how can we always continue to improve? How can I improve my product? How can I keep it, recent, relevant, realistic? The three things that I'm always harping on. How can we make it better? And the reason that I always do that is because it's not about me as an instructor, it's about the students. Because I mean, let's face it, in this industry, if you decide that you're training armed citizens, those people, you have a responsibility that you're taking for them, because they're trusting in you. And it could mean the difference between them going home to the people that they care about and them not going home to the people that they care about. So if we're not always looking and reflecting and getting better and making our curriculums better and applicable to the students, we're doing them a disservice. So and it could be detrimental to them. So like I said, I think I kind of started off where I liked teaching early on, and so I would kind of gravitate towards it. But I continue to cultivate it as I continue down this path. Like Brian Hill and I say, the road to mastery is long. If you think you've mastered it, you should probably quit doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Andy, training junkie, right? Not your first rodeo, not even with Shane, but with like you've gone down this, you're years down this road. You know what I mean? So, what kind of advice can you give to other students about how to prepare for this class? What do they need to bring? How do they need to do it? Physical conditioning, like how can they prepare?
Well, definitely some physical conditioning, because when we did it, it was July.
God.
I think on one of the things where I was promoting the class, I said, if you want to take this class in nicer weather, it's happening in November. But one thing, make sure all your gear works, like always. Go over everything, make sure you got plenty to drink, plenty of water. But really just come with an open mind. Just come ready to learn. And this is one of the first classes, too, I've taken where I really got a lot of good notes. Like a lot of classes, like I kind of struggle with taking notes. But this one, I got tons of good notes that I went back over and read and just keep, going back over some of the medical stuff. But honestly, just like I said, go with an open mind and just be ready to learn. Be ready to try new stuff.
Yeah, that's great advice. Just not just for this class, but for literally any class. It's really hard to fill up a water bottle when the lid's closed. You got to open it up.
Yep.
So, man, awesome stuff. Let's see. So going back to you, Shane, you've been doing this a long time as well. You've been teaching for absolutely forever. You've been going down range forever. What kind of guidance can you provide to other instructors? You already touched on it a little bit about, making the focus on the student and making sure that your training is relevant, recent, and realistic. What other advice can you give to guys that, might be fledgling instructors at this point?
Well, there's a couple things when people ask me, because I'll have people come and like, hey, we want to come and hang out and maybe learn how to teach. I might want to go down this path, or people that are like, hey, I'm doing this and I'm starting a company or whatever the case may be. My advice to them is, number one, figure out who the demographic is that you want to impact. So I think that's an important thing, and it can be unique to you. Like for me, with 24 years in the military, 6 of them in special operations. When I started setting up the company, I sat down and I thought about who do I want to impact with what I'm doing here. And I didn't want to do the same thing that I did in the military because I don't think it's really applicable to, your everyday armed citizen. And there's other people that do that. I'm not opposed to doing it, but it just wasn't the demographic that I wanted to impact. I wanted to impact, just normal people that, had a firearm, that wanted to learn how to use it in a realistic way, that if anything ever happened, they were able to take care of themselves and be able to go home to their families and continue on with their lives and do it legally. That's the first thing. Identify who your demographic is. Whether it's armed citizen, you want people to, that they're Navy SEAL, Delta Force, Special Forces guys or whatever, which is cool. Competitive shooters, whatever. Just identify that demographic first, and then write a mission statement for what you want to accomplish. A mission statement and an end state. So I try not to take too much military stuff into what I do anymore. But I think that's important. If you're an instructor, you're starting a company, or you're thinking about doing it, once you identify that demographic, is write a mission statement. What do you want to accomplish, and what's your end state? What do you want to accomplish with what you're doing? What do you want your students to get out of it when they walk out of class? And then once you do that stuff, then you can start doing your curriculum development. And like for me, and I've gone through different phases, worked at different places. When I started the company, is I started off, pretty slow. Like we had, I think maybe 2 pistol classes, 2 rifle classes, and a medical class, which I had already developed, but I had changed from what I was doing previously as I, learned new stuff, or what I thought were better ways of doing things, better linkage. So it made sense. And then we expanded because, I would teach those classes and I'm like, I've got more stuff that I want to teach. So I'd come up with another class, eventually to the point where, Callie, my wife, said, okay, you need to stop making classes because we've got way too many and it's just you teaching. But, then you can start figuring that stuff out and, how to set up your curriculums and your outlines so that they make sense for whatever demographic you're trying to impact.
That makes a lot of sense. And, I'm taking notes over here too, because that's really great stuff, Awesome. Now, so I know there's a lot of stuff that you guys stay busy with. I'd like to know what's coming up next for y'all. Okay. Let's, Shane, how about you go first? Like what classes, what projects do you have coming up?
Well, let's see. I was just telling Andy before we started recording, we leave Thursday for Biloxi, Mississippi, for the Combatives Association Summit. We're presenting there again this year. So that's the next thing that's on our radar. We'll be getting out of here on Thursday and going down and spending the 3 days with John Valentine and the variety of instructors that are going to be down there. I mean, it's a virtual who's who in the combatives world. Craig Douglas will be down there, Cecil Birch, Guy, Kelly McCann's going to be there again this year. You got John Valentine, who's kind of heading the whole thing up. Matt Larson, the father of the Army Combatives program, and just a host of other people that are going to be there. So we'll be doing that. And then we've got the class that we're talking about tonight, the ACE class, our Armed Citizens Encounters class, here at our home range at Montgomery County Shooting Complex. That's coming up on the 15th and 16th of November. So we got that coming up here, pretty shortly. That'll be the last one for this year. And then after that for me, because, going back to what we were talking about as far as being an instructor, in addition to the things that I said, you've got to stay relevant, and stay in the game. So I'm going down and taking Tom Gibbons's instructor course in November, and which, as we all know, is an amazing course. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to get into it up until this time, but I'm finally knocking that out. So those are kind of the things that are coming up in the near term future for me.
Nice. Right on. I'm so jealous. I want to go to like all that stuff, like Combative Summit, dude. I want to go to the Combatives. Oh, dude, I want to go there so bad.
Because they still got slots.
Well, so here's the thing, right? I bought a ticket, and It turns out I got to work that day. So
Oh,
yeah, I know, right? Like
Yep.
my job's rough, but you know, it's cool. I like what I do. The I was able to donate that ticket, so
good.
I know
Very
who that
nice.
ticket went to, and it's a really cool cop in Ohio that I know who her brother is, so it's a good cause. That was cool.
Awesome.
But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipe that I really want to be there. But anyways, Andy, I know you got some stuff coming up, right?
Oh yeah, Range Master intensive pistol class, first week of November.
Jealous.
Planned on going to come help Shane with the Armed Citizens class in November.
Yep.
Super jealous.
Going to try to get in Jeff Bourne's reality-based shotgun class in November.
Oh man.
So November's going to be really busy. And then we got Scott Jelinski Modern Samurai Project December 13th at Top Gun in Memphis. And then starting the first of the year already, we got Tactical Anatomy Summit we're going to be doing in Memphis in February. So that's pretty much what I got going on right now. Plus trying to get this store open in Hendersonville, getting a training program written for there, and just, all kinds of good stuff going on right now.
The Top Gun stuff, I plan on being at both of those.
Yep.
Scott Jetlinski and the Tactical Anatomy Summit, because I had so much fun at the first one. Oh man, it was such a fun class and super informative too. Like, dude, just looking through all the autopsy photos and the MRIs and the CAT scans and just everything, dude. I wish that stuff was in my permit class.
We got a small preview of that at TacCon and Andy Anderson's little presentation he did on the Tactical Anatomy Summit. And that just, after doing that, and it really made me want to get in the class.
What a badass dude.
Yeah.
Freaking Andy Anderson. This dude's like, he's got pictures of him like with the sheriff's office, like putting on plate carriers and kicking in doors.
Yep.
But then he's also a trauma room surgeon. And I'm up like, crap, dude, seriously? What else is there? Are you an astronaut too?
He does that only on the weekends.
Yeah.
While he's spearfishing.
Yes.
Freaking awesome dude. Yeah. Awesome guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what questions did I not ask tonight? What should I have asked that I didn't get to?
I don't think you missed anything. I mean,
I think you got it all.
It hit the highlights of the class. What's going on with us. Yeah.
Awesome. And also, I got one small little curveball. Okay, so a lot of times during these podcasts, I end up finding out something about my guests that don't have anything to do with guns. Just a really, really cool thing that they do. All right. So Andy, I know you're kind of like a whiskey connoisseur. Am I right?
A little bit, yeah. I've actually been more into wine.
Really?
My red wine these days.
What is going on here? Okay.
Yeah. Changing it up.
Yeah. Are you a Merlot guy or what was that? Like a
Cabernet. Yeah, I like a Cabernet with a steak. That's kind of been my jam lately. Are you there, Meek? Look like you froze up.
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay, we're back. Yeah.
Back.
I had half of mine to mess with you up. You're like, yeah. But what was it? I was asking Andy, like, was that a Merlot? I didn't hear the answer.
No, it's a Cabernet.
Cabernet. Okay.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna nod and pretend that I know the difference.
Cabernets and red meat, they just go really good together. And I like my Cabernets and my ribeyes. Yeah, I've really got into like cooking steaks. I like to reverse sear a nice big thick steak and then have a nice glass of Cabernet with it. Yeah, it's been my thing lately.
I'm still taking notes here. All right. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. Shane, what's your drink of choice? Like you come off as a whiskey guy to me.
I have whiskey on occasion. I'm actually kind of a wine guy also. Red wine also. Yep.
I need to get on this wagon, Yeah. So Is it so for you, Shane? Is it Cabernet or is it Merlot or what?
I used to be a Merlot guy. I like the Cabernet. I've been a little bit more as of lately into a Shiraz.
Shiraz. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
which is another
Nice.
red.
Yeah. My wife, she gets really big into, like the sweet California red,
Mhm.
like it tastes like cranberry juice to me, man. It's super sweet.
Now we
Yeah.
need to get together and eat good steaks and have a nice glass of wine.
I'm down for that. Yes.
That sounds
Absolutely.
like a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After a good day of shooting.
Yep.
Oh, dude. Yes. How about in February?
Yeah.
Tactical Anatomy Summit.
Absolutely.
We each bring down a bottle and
Sure.
oh, that'd be freaking awesome, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can
Alrighty.
definitely make that happen.
It
Cool.
sounds like a plan.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm definitely definitely. Awesome. Well, folks, look, I think I heard enough. I 100%. Like I thought I already wanted to go to the ACE class, right? The Armed Citizens Encounter class. I'm even more so now. I gotta get that in. It's on my list. And I just want to say thanks a bunch to you, Shane, and to you, Andy, for taking time out of your busy schedule to to sit here and kick it with me for about half an hour. I definitely
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And then also, let's before we sign off, do me a favor. Like, can you let us know where viewers can find you? Where they can find your content? What websites? Shane, how about you go first?
Yeah, so you can find it at www.personalsurvivalsolutions.com. We've got everything on there: my bio, the schedule, all the classes that we teach. For the Tactical Anatomy Summit, Callie has put together a Tactical Anatomy Summit webpage. So if anybody's interested in that, in addition to our courses, you can just do a Tactical Anatomy Summit search on the interwebs, and it'll take you there with the schedule that's there. We are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All of them are at Personal Survival Solutions. You can find us there. So if there's any questions, or if you just want to reach out, you can reach out on any of those platforms or on the website. It's got our phone numbers and emails, and so you can reach out and ask questions or just get a hold of us at any time you want.
Awesome, man. And Andy, where can people find you?
You can find me Facebook, Instagram, or if you're ever in the Nashville area, pop into the Outpost Armory. I'm at the Nashville store right now, but hopefully in January we'll have the Hendersonville store open. Come on in there and see us. We're going to have a lot of great training classes going there. So stop in and say hi.
Nice.
Right on.
Yep.
Excellent. And folks, one last thing for our viewers at home. I just want to say thank you so much for spending your evening with us. All right.
Yeah,
like you could have been
absolutely.
spending your time doing anything else, like with your family or earning some extra cash, but you're spending it with us. And we just want to let you know how much we appreciate it.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
thank you all. Thanks guys for coming on. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.